I'm Kevin Ackelen, and I work with several different investors, and of course, David's one of the investors I work with.
Mhm.
So, David, one of the things that comes up often is when people find themselves in uncomfortable situations,
Yes.
is what makes you different? What makes you the person that I can come to and know that you're going to be the one that can help me through this time?
Well, I don't know how different I am, really. I can only, because it's impossible for me to know what everybody else knows, but I know what I can do. And what I can do is really problem solve in ways that are sometimes, conventional, sometimes a little bit unconventional, depending on what the goals of the person is. Now, generally speaking, when I encounter someone, when someone solicits me and says, gee, Dave, I really want you to come and buy my property, they're dealing with a circumstance that's uncomfortable to them. It could be financial, it could be personal, it could be emotional. And the first thing I do, rather than jump in and make offers and things like that, is I just sit with the person, just like I were sitting with a friend, and say, okay, tell me about your circumstance. Tell me about the feeling that you're getting and dealing with this, and connect with that person first. A lot of the customers that I talk to, because I'm obviously not the only person. A lot of times that they call, say, what makes you different from the other guy is the other guy or a woman just walks in here, barks some numbers at me, says take it or leave it, and they just don't get to know me. So there's sort of no bedside manner. But what I do here is a little bit different. I get to know people. I try to connect with them and then try to figure out what's the best solution. And if I'm not the best solution for them, I tell them, I probably am not the way for you to go. You should probably list your property with a broker. You should go see a counselor. You should, do something else. But if I feel like what I can do for them is a fit, then we proceed. Then, I make them 1, 2, 3, 4 offers. It all depends on what it is that is going to solve the problem, what they feel comfortable with.
Now, when people are dealing with these situations, often there's what I would call a false sense of urgency, and sometimes there's a very real urgent need for someone to come in to solve the problem. How quickly, if someone's really in need and it's a situation that you're comfortable and they're comfortable with you, how quickly can you act? How quickly can something happen for these people?
Same day. Absolutely the same day. And of course it varies from situation to situation, whether we're talking about an estate sale, a foreclosure, empty nest. It depends on the situation. But I act right away. If I say I'm going to do something, I do it right then and there. If so long as the person is of the same mindset. Because sometimes, truth of the matter is, some people say they want a solution to their problem right away, but then when you give them one, they're hesitant because they're not exactly ready. They're not exactly ready. And there's nothing wrong with that. I've been there. I can relate to that. It's not a problem.
And how many years have you been involved in this business of real estate investing?
Well, I started in real estate when I was 18 years old. Actually, I was probably younger than that, but I got my real estate license when I was 18, and I started learning how to market real estate, work with buyers, work with sellers. And then when I was in my early to mid-20s, I made a conscious decision to steer away from the brokerage business end of this business and focus more on landlording, investing in real estate, buying, rehabbing, basically problem solving, being a principal in a transaction rather than being an agent in a transaction, which is very different because you have a lot of skin in the game when you're the person who puts his money on the line.
Now, I know from working with other investors, sometimes that first deal, that first transaction makes people hesitant to act or to actually pull the trigger. And sometimes it's just a matter of time, that people don't have the time to investigate and to understand what they're getting into. Do you ever work with other investors to help them through that period, so that maybe partner up with them, or do you always work alone?
Well, no, I work with a lot of investors. I tend to limit the amount of people I work with only so far as, again, like sellers, people say, I'm ready to do something, and then when it comes time to really put up or shut up, they don't put up. And I can't work with people, because if I give my word to a seller that I'm going to solve their problem, and that problem takes either time or expertise, and I'm working with someone that has made a commitment to me to do such, and they don't show, or they don't do what they say they're going to do, that doesn't work for me.
So if somebody's ready to act, if someone's got some finances behind them, and they just need
Oh,
to.
yeah, absolutely. I'd be willing to work with them. I mean, it's not a problem, and I've done it in the past. Absolutely.
And how do you find most of the people that are in the various situations they find themselves in? Do you know how do they find David?
Well, I mean, they can call my phone number that's on the website. I always answer my phone. Or they can go on my website and fill out the information box, and the email will come to me, or one of my assistants, or maybe even you, I don't know. And we'll get back to them right away. You know, I'm interested in giving people solutions today, not someday. And some of the other feedback I've gotten from customers is, you know, yeah, I called this company and I called that company and I left them a voicemail, and they didn't get back to me for 2 weeks. And that's never been my modus operandi. You know, I figure if someone's calling me, they're dealing with something, and they want a solution now. Because if they didn't want a solution now, they could just contact a real estate broker, and the broker could go out and, you know, list the property and take their time and all that stuff. And that's just not my bag. That's not what I do.
Now, I know that Philadelphia is a very diverse marketplace, and I know that you've invested in all different places of the
Yes.
city. Sometimes, is this a bilingual office or a trilingual office?
Yeah,
Or?
I speak Spanish, and some of the people I work with also speak Spanish fluently. So, yeah, that's not an issue. Hablo español. My family's from South America. I also speak a little Portuguese and a little Russian. So communicating with people for me is not an issue. And even if somebody comes to me and doesn't quite understand, and English is not their first language, for example, if they're Cambodian or I don't know, whatever, I can probably find a translator for them. It's not an issue.
Okay.
So does that conclude things? I guess it does for now, right?
That
Awesome.
sounds good.
Thanks a lot, man.